blood transfusions is.
I mean, I'm just thinking, imagine if it was in my state, for example, and she would not have been able to get that health care that she needed. And this is why I'm so passionate about being pro-choice, because she'll say, you know, I don't take contraceptive because if you do, that's not pro-life, but she got this procedure, as she should, but it's hypocritical because technically that is terminating a pregnancy, getting the fetus out, which you have to do in order to survive. But you see the hypocrisy with so many things she has said in this video. It's unbelievable. Hi guys, I'm back. If you know me, hey. But if you don't know me, hi, I'm Ashley. I actually have a main channel and it's called Ashley Ann. And over there I talk about a lot of music related topics such as Michael Jackson, the band Queen, and K-pop content. But over here I talk about more personal things, internet topics, really just whatever I feel like talking about. I don't know what I'm gonna end up doing the most on this channel. I'm kind of just trying out anything and seeing what sticks and what kind of content you guys want to see on this channel. Today, as you can see by the title, we are going to be talking about a certain person that is really well known on TikTok. They post a lot of family content, you know, them and their husband, mostly them and their 11 children. And her name is Karissa Collin'S. This is not going to be a deep dive. This is more going to be talking about a more recent situation that happened, but I will be addressing a couple of other things in this video, the life that she is living very publicly online. I do highly recommend this video from Rachel Oates. She is just an amazing content creator on here. She is just genuinely a joy to listen to. I love that she addresses harmful content, harmful situations, and explains it in a very respectful manner. And I just think her platform is so important here on YouTube. She did an amazing job. This video is going to be more surface level, but so this is Karissa Collin'S TikTok account. She definitely does post her children online consistently, and they do videos together. You know, I wasn't into her content whatsoever, but there was a recent video that she posted that ended up really getting a lot of attention. And before I get into that, I just want to give a huge trigger warning for, I guess, 3 things. One is there's going to be a lot of talk about very consistent pregnancy in this video. She has 11 children. She has been pregnant most of her time being married to her husband. And I know some people, you know, who have been pregnant or have experienced, you know, giving birth, things like that, you may have some traumatic experiences with that, so that may be a sensitive topic. We're also going to talk about her losing a child in the womb, so that is obviously a very sensitive topic. So if that is going to be a little too much for you, I would not recommend watching this video, because that is exactly what we're about to dive into right now. We will be watching her apology / response to the situation. There are just a lot of children in this family, and of course it has sparked a lot of debate on how do these children get the attention, like the one-on-one time that children need in this family when there are 11 of them and there's mom and dad. I will say I don't know if they have, you know, nannies or anything like that. They have a lot of followers, they get a lot of views, so I'm sure financially they have a lot of things covered. But even if you have the financial ability to support this many children, there's a lot of other factors that go into taking care of children besides the financial aspect, and that's what a lot of people are concerned about with her children, especially her older children. So I'm not going to play the video because it is disturbing, but you can easily find it on TikTok. And basically Karissa lost this child that was in her womb, and her children can be seen hitting her stomach, which is just very alarming. She ended up making an apology / response video about this, and we're going to listen to that right now. This is actually still up on her TikTok account. Oh wow, this is 18 minutes long? Okay, well, this is about to be a long one, you guys.
Hey guys, so I'm just making hopefully a quick video because I've tried to do this before and it was 30 minutes long. I'm trying to make it a little bit quicker. So ignore my hair, not done. We're going swimming later. Anyway, I wanted to talk about a video I posted a few video that has gotten people very, very upset. Now, the first thing I want to say is I apologize. When I posted that video, what's on other people's minds was not on my mind at all. Never thought of it that way. It was a cute moment with me and my children. I didn't think anybody would even watch it.
What's posted on the internet usually is there forever, right? That's something I've definitely learned the hard way. What are her children as they get older going to think when they see this? You know what I mean? And some of them already are older to understand what's going on. So
if people have said, okay, a person, I'm sure more people have said that I used it as clickbait. Now, the first thing I want to address is I don't do clickbait. I don't like controversy. I don't post.
She may have at this point, because a lot of people have been, making videos about her lifestyle choices and how a lot of them are very irresponsible, especially for her children. I have a feeling she's either letting people just comment away, or she has most likely filtered the comments. So to say that, she's not controversial, the comments are saying otherwise, because people were obviously really upset with that video that she posted. And I have never even suffered the loss of a child in the womb, right? And even I was like, what is this? I mean, think about who's following her, I mean, I'm sure it's a lot of moms that have kids, a lot of families, maybe women that have been through losing a child in the womb as well. I mean,
offensive things for followers. I don't want followers like that. I'm not all about following. I just am simply here to share the message that God has given me. And
I don't have anything against people that, if religion helps you, that's great. But sometimes people don't use common sense. And Karissa, I'm gonna show other videos of this, she is very extreme. Even taking contraceptive, which yes, does prevent pregnancy, obviously, that's why people take it, that is unaliving a child. You are blocking God's gift of having children by doing that, and so therefore that does not make you godly, and you are not actually pro-life. Lot to unpack there, but I'm sure she'll probably mention that in this apology.
Ministry that I have, which is just encouraging women that you can trust God with your womb, that you can rely on Him to give you His blessings in children, and what I believe the Bible says about that.
Putting something as serious as having a child, just saying, well, God's got it, when you may not have a community to help you take care of this child, you may not have the financial resources, you may not be mentally prepared to bring a child into this world, you may have everything up against you, which happens all the time. People have children and bring them up in very bad circumstances. I mean, it happens every day, unfortunately. Those children are usually traumatized for the rest of their life because of that. And it can heavily impact the kind of future they have. These are important things to think about, and yes, you can pray about those things if you choose to do so, but you should also be thinking realistically. And this is something that I believe Karissa is unrealistic with.
People find that offensive, dangerous, disgusting, and disturbing, and I don't know why. So let me just quickly address what my theology is, because I mean, if that's the word you want to use, people are saying my theology is messed up. This is what we believe. We believe that all life is from God, that He knows you before He forms you in the womb, that children are a blessing and a gift, and that God is who He says He is, that the Bible is true, and we cannot find anywhere in the Bible that gives us permission to choose to prevent, sterilize, or if that is just dangerous, disgusting, and disturbing, I don't know what to tell you. It's literally in the Bible. But that is what we believe, and so we encourage women and families, not just women, but families, to trust God with however many children He wants to give.
Do I even need to explain why this is dangerous? I don't mind if people want to have large families. There are plenty of people who want to have big families. They're very family oriented. You know, that's just what they want. People are so concerned that women aren't having children, women are, you know, putting time into their careers rather than being a wife and having kids. Everybody's path is different. Some women want to be wives and have children very early on. I'm not one of those people, but there are plenty of women that do. But even so, there are women that want that for themselves, but financially know it's just not in the cards and they don't have the resources. You know, especially here in the US, it is just very hard. You know, childcare is extremely expensive. So you have to work to be able to take care of your child and provide for them, but also you can't just leave them at home while you go to work. If you don't have someone that can watch them, you have to pay for childcare. I mean, it's more complex than Karissa is making it, and this is extremely dangerous to tell this to other women and families online with this huge platform that she has. I mean, this is just not a responsible thing to do with her platform.
Now, I understand that people cannot imagine having 11 children, and it blows their mind, and so they have to find something to say about it. If you haven't had 11 children, I don't feel like you have the right to say it's impossible or that you can't do it, because I used to say that. When I had 5 children, I ran into a woman who I believe had 13, and I was like this. I was completely mind blown, shocked, and I was like, that's impossible. There's no way. Well, look at me now. I had no idea that God had planned a big family for us. We just simply believe that we are to live lives of faith and that children are eternal, and they're the only eternal thing that we have with us on this earth, and that they have value. Lots of value, the most valuable thing we can have or we can contribute. And so
I would be feeling a lot more passionately about what she's saying with children have value and, you know, we love children. But I will say I'm reluctant to feed into that and what she's saying, because it seems to me that the value and the appreciation of the child, it seems to come from, you know, when they're formed and in the womb, and then once they're born, it's not as much of a priority. And I'm saying that as someone especially that lives in the United States, okay? I don't think it takes a genius to realize that children are literally going to school scared. They are fully aware that something bad could happen to them at school, if you get what I'm saying without going into too much detail. Children are not able to have free lunches in certain school districts.
And I just wanted to add that to say women's sole purpose essentially is to have children. That is the greatest thing you'll ever do in your life. For some women, that may be the case, but me, for example, that is absolutely not the case. So to put women in a box like that is just not realistic. And also, on a really important note, just because you can have 11 or more children doesn't necessarily mean that you should. I'm going to get more into how pregnancy can really affect a woman's body. I mean, even just one pregnancy can do a lot of damage to your body. Just throughout this video, I'm going to be expressing a lot of concern for the way that Karissa values her own health.
There's a lot of factors put up against kids when they come into this world. And I'm not trying to say that we just shouldn't have children. It's just, I can't help but feel the hypocrisy when people say this. And I don't see that same effort put into the children that are currently here on this earth in not great situations. But for some reason, the utmost importance is put onto the children that are in the womb.
That is, we believe it's just a life of faith. The Bible talks about faith all the time, and that is what we believe. So I want to put that out on the table. The other thing I want to talk about is when it comes to clickbait, I will never understand people that have a platform based on degrading other families they've never met. Even if they've met them,
This is another thing. Are there people that have said nasty things about Karissa and her family? I don't doubt it for a second. The internet is a crazy place. I am sitting here today to say that I am not trying to wish anything bad on her or her family. I would never even dream of saying these kinds of things with my following, which is only a little over 1,000 people. So for her to have over 800,000 followers, like 860,000, and to be sharing this, I don't think it's okay. I feel that the effects of sharing this and encouraging this kind of lifestyle, it's not gonna work for everybody. It's actually not gonna work for most people. And I don't think anyone's surprised when I say that having 11 children does not work for most families. I don't think that's controversial to say, and I don't think it's hateful to say that. If you're going to post that you have 11 children online, what do you expect? There's going to be discourse in the comments. There are going to be people that are concerned about why you decided to have that many children and how are you managing that, and are some children potentially like taking care of the younger ones? I mean, it seems like a normal thing to be concerned about.
Called clickbait, and it is what it is. Okay? I simply will not call people out on my platform. My platform is just to share the messages that the Lord gives me, and to share the blessings that He has given us, and to show other women that it is possible to trust God, and it is possible to be joyful and enjoy motherhood and have children that literally are amazing. Okay, so back to why I'm making this video. So there's a video I posted 3 or 4 days ago, and I just want to explain the video. I'm not defending myself. This is my ministry, and so I want to just educate those that clearly probably saw the video and don't know me or don't understand. So just wanted to put this out there. I feel like it is the nice thing to do. Okay, so a few days ago, I posted a video. I was in the hallway of our house, and I was playing with my 10-month-old baby. We were like having him walk back and forth, and all my little kids came in. They were all excited, all calling him. They all wanted him to walk to them. And then they started showing me their bellies and how they ate a lot of food, and their bellies are big. And I'm talking like my kids are 10 months, 2, 4, 5, 7, 8. And my 9-year-old was in there. So we were all just having so much fun. They were showing me their bellies and talking about how big their bellies were. And I said, if y'all want to see a big belly, let me show you my belly. Now, my belly, I have a fat belly. I have extra chub from being pregnant 15 times that I am currently trying to work off. I am not ashamed of saying that I have a chubby belly and that I need to work on it. Now,
girl, just take care of yourself. I mean, pregnancy is dangerous, and I think we're starting to talk about that more.
I'll explain my current situation. I am currently possibly still pregnant with a missed baby. I'll get into that after I share with you the mindset.
And I just want to say I am sorry that she lost a child in the womb. A lot of people were saying, you know, this is your body telling you that this is enough, right? But at the end of the day, I know that even if you have a lot of children, to lose a child is still a traumatic situation. So I'm not trying to belittle her for that at all. I just want to make that very clear.
In this video, but my belly is fat because it's fat. I mean, I am like,
girl,
pregnant but not pregnant enough.
I've seen pictures of her. She's not fat. I'll tell you that right now. It makes me kind of sad that she cares about her appearance this much. Like, we put this much expectation on women for their appearance, even after having children.
I don't know. Anyway, I'm not embarrassed of my fat. I shared the video because
that's good.
My kids saw my stomach and they just died laughing. They like were squeezing it like slime and like squishmallows.
To me, it looked more like hitting. I'm gonna be honest. It didn't really look like squeezing.
The funniest thing. It was the cutest thing. Their laughter was like literally, I wanted to never forget that moment of them like just finding so much joy in my belly, because as mothers, we sacrifice our bodies to birth our children. And it's a beautiful thing, and it's not a disgusting thing. And while I am self-conscious about my stomach, simply because everybody calls me pregnant all the time, even when I'm not, it is something that we can laugh about, we can have fun about, while we're in the process of working to getting our bodies back to the way we would like them to. So my kids were having a blast.
If you're going to continue to get pregnant, which I truly hope she does not for her own safety. I know she said she's not embarrassed about it, and like they joke about her looking pregnant even when she's not, but something about that still kind of makes me sad. I'm not gonna lie. I have a lot of disagreements with this woman. Obviously, I have plenty of things that I think she's sharing that are so terrible to women and families on here, but I do feel for her for that a little bit.
And okay, so my 4-year-old can hit a little bit too hard. Now I say ouch in the video just because that's like her warning, like don't hit that hard. They were not hurting me. They were not hurting anything inside of me. Now my children do not, like, they going through, okay, well first let me just share this. I did make the mistake in the video of giving a pregnancy update with the video. Now when me and my children were playing around with my stomach and squeezing it, like, you know, all those sensory toys that they have in the store, I simply said, don't go buy those expensive sensory toys, just give them your belly because they have more fun. It doesn't break or pop, and it never goes away, so it's free. I thought it was so funny and so cute how much fun my kids had with my belly. That's why I shared the video, but the mistake that I made is in the video, I shared a pregnancy update. And my update was, I have not fully miscarried the baby, the miscarriage that I found out about a month ago. So I have been carrying this miscarriage for, I mean, the dates are all skewed in my head because it feels like forever. Anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks.
This is really dangerous, by the way. This is why I'm so passionate about the way I am with being pro-choice. Women in my own state of Georgia have lost their lives due to the strict terminating pregnancy laws here in my state. Women are not given the health care that they needed and can literally lose their lives because of that.
I didn't really like how I explained this in the video, so I edited that part out, but I feel like I can say it better now. So what I'm trying to say is I'm aware that the loss of pregnancy and the process of how that works, it's different for every woman. Some women, it does last over a span of weeks. It can last a long time. And for some women, which Karissa's actually going to talk about later in this video, because she has had, as of now, 4 losses of pregnancy. So she ends up talking about how she actually had to have an emergency D&C, which a lot of women do have to get. Like I said earlier, my state, it's very strict when it comes to procedures like that because the laws here for terminating a pregnancy are so strict. It is technically considered terminating a pregnancy. Even if it is a life-saving procedure for the mother, they will still not do it because of the laws set in place here. So yes, women can have different experiences. Some women do not need medical treatment, like a procedure done to help pass the fetus, okay? But some women do. Now, I will say she did go to the doctor, thank goodness. She did get checked out, which is extremely important. If you think for a second anything is wrong, please go to the doctor if you can, because it could literally save your life. She goes on later to say, you know, I think the number one thing you need to do is allow your body to do what it does. Well, some women don't have that experience and they need medical help and someone needs to intervene, right? So she'll talk more in detail about her, you know, emergency procedure and the loss of blood and things she dealt with, but we'll get to that in just a little bit.
I've been, like, the baby passed, I believe, 6 weeks ago, but it takes a long time for your body to figure it out. So, backstory, what I'm going through, I am pregnant with my 15th pregnancy, my 4th miscarriage. I found out 6 weeks ago in the ER that...
Again, I don't want anything bad to happen to her. I don't want her children to ever lose their mother or anything like that. That would be absolutely horrible. If your body is rejecting this multiple times and, you know, you've already had many children prior to this, you need to listen to your body. We're seeing the reality of the situation right now. And you have to address that, even as a religious person, to protect yourself and make sure that you are there for your children, right?
7 weeks ago in the ER that they said there was no baby. I spent a lot of time mourning. I was bleeding from a subchorionic hemorrhage.
Dangerous.
I mourned this pregnancy for a while. I took a good 2 weeks off, got really close to God, asked all the questions, went through all the things that you process, all the things that you blame yourself for. A lot of confusion can come with miscarriage, and you just don't, you want to do things differently or know if you did something wrong. I went through all of those feelings and those things. I then saw an OB who then said there was a baby, but we couldn't find a heartbeat. So I would have been 10 weeks pregnant, the baby was 7 weeks. So I'm not sure exactly at what point in my pregnancy the baby passed, but probably at 7 weeks. So the baby had probably been gone for 3 weeks, but she wanted to make sure, so I waited 3 more weeks, went back to the doctor, and at this point, so this would have been 2.5 weeks ago from today that I'm talking.
You've had so many pregnancies. Your body is wearing down with each pregnancy. Each pregnancy takes so much out of women, and every woman is different. Some women have very traumatic pregnancies. Some women, it's relatively simple. But this many times, the logical reality is standing right in front of her, and she will not face it head on, you know? She's constantly reverting back to, well, the Bible says this. It's just really sad to see, honestly.
At this point, we saw the baby again, no heartbeat, but the baby was 5.5 weeks. So the baby was starting to disintegrate. So the doctor explained to me that the baby starts to disintegrate because your body, like the hormones and all of that, your body still believes you're pregnant. Your body has not recognized that there is a miscarriage, that the baby has not made it. So it takes your body a while for it to figure out that you do not have a viable pregnancy and for it to expel that pregnancy. There are 3 options that doctors give you when this happens. They give you the option of letting your body do what your body does, which your body will expel. See, our bodies were made amazing, and it's just amazing what they can do. So you have that option. You have the option of the abortion pill, which puts your body into labor and causes you to miscarry it sooner. And then the third option is the DNC, which is dilated. I don't know the exact term for it. Honestly, I should, but I don't. But that's where
I should, but I don't. This is sad. Like, it's frustrating, but also it is a little bit sad because it really shows how much she has not looked into this. And she really should, for her own safety. Religious or not, you should care about your health and your safety and making that a priority. But it seems like the baby is always the main concern. And I understand that's her child in her womb, so obviously she cares, which is not weird at all, but you have to think about yourself too.
Action out the pregnancy. I always opt for letting my body do its thing. I have had 3 miscarriages before this. My first one, I had to have an emergency DNC. I had a blighted ovum, which means the baby never formed, and I went all the way until 18 weeks. Super long story short, I ended up having to be hospitalized, had an emergency DNC and 2 blood transfusions. It was very scary.
I mean, I'm just thinking, imagine if it was in my state, for example, and she would not have been able to get that health care that she needed. And this is why I'm so passionate about being pro-choice, because she'll say, you know, I don't take contraceptive because if you do, that's not pro-life. But she got this procedure, as she should, but it's hypocritical because technically that is terminating a pregnancy, getting the fetus out, which you have to do in order to survive. But you see the hypocrisy with so many things she has said in this video. It's unbelievable.
And aside from the hypocrisy, it's just this hypocrisy exists because these beliefs are so extreme. These beliefs do not benefit women. It's just, there's no debating that. No woman benefits from these extremist beliefs and it coming into our law system.
My second miscarriage, I saw the baby at 7 weeks. went back at 9 weeks, and the baby had passed. That one, I chose to let my body do its thing, and I never saw an actual miscarriage. Like, I never bled. Went back literally 9 weeks later. Yeah, 9 weeks later. And just to get checked up, and the doctor said that there was nothing in my body was completely healed, that it was as if there was never a pregnancy. Unexplained. We were praying for a resurrection. I believe that's what God did, just not in the way that we were praying. And then the third miscarriage, I found out that I was pregnant, and by the end of that week, I miscarried, and that was just like, all of it came out at once, super quick and over. That one was actually very hard for me to process because I never got to see the baby and I never had closure. The ones where I can see the baby, I actually have the closure of knowing that it was over, that I had fully missed, if that makes sense. Just seeing the baby makes it easier. So, all that to say, this is not cut and dry. It's not black and white. I think people think that you may oop, it's all gone and it's done, and then you just go on with your life, but you don't. A lot of women have missed miscarriages and bled ovums where they can go weeks and months still carrying that pregnancy before they pass the baby. And I personally have heard, because this is my ministry, I've heard thousands of testimonies of women who went in and there was no heartbeat, and they had the option to DNC, they chose not to, and weeks later there was a heartbeat. So there is always a possibility that the sonogram gets it wrong. And so I always suggest that we simply don't take matters into our own hands. In an emergency situation, I had no other option than to get DNC. There was still a lot of the pregnancy still left inside of me that had not come out, and I had no choice.
The hypocrisy of pro-life is genuinely killing me right now.
I say this because I genuinely wonder, if this had not happened to Karissa, how would she feel about other women getting this procedure? Because, like I said, the laws in some states are so extreme for this, a lot of women don't have access to this health care that Karissa received. So, obviously, yeah, she should have had the procedure if she wanted to be okay and survive, but I can't help but get frustrated at the hypocrisy that she's bringing into this because of her religious beliefs. I genuinely take such issue with people that use their religion to put other people's lives in danger.
I say always let your body do what your body was made to do. Don't do any interventions unless an emergency is necessary. I'm not against interventions. I just believe that the healthiest option is always to let your body do what your body was created to do. Okay, so about the video, it got a lot of hate because I put my pregnancy update that I hadn't passed the baby yet. Now, I'm not 1,000% sure like what's going on in my body, because after I had my last appointment, my body did go into labor. I did pass a clot, not very big. It was very painful. It was like an actual labor, but I don't believe that was the whole pregnancy. It was not that much. I have missed a pregnancy this far along. I'm technically anywhere between 16 and 17 weeks right now, and I go back to the doctor in a week next week to find out exactly like if the baby and the sac is still inside. Now my baby was just so the baby might be fully separated, and there might still be a sac, but yeah. I go back next week. I am under OB care. I am taking care of myself. I do take supplements. I am aware of my body and if there's any health issues. I'm not carelessly out here doing whatever. So people
doesn't use contraceptive, is having consistent loss of pregnancies.
saying my children were hitting my baby and that the video was insensitive. Now when I filmed the video, when I posted the video, that was never in my head. When you're hitting someone's belly, especially when the baby is only 6 weeks or when the baby passed at 7 weeks, the baby is like maybe this big.
This is something that I see a lot of, people who are pro-choice, they'll say, well, if you are terminating a pregnancy, it's not fully conscious, right? And she just explained the size of it.
So the baby's gonna be very, very, very low. Now they're hitting the top of my belly. Like that's not even gonna come even kind of close to the baby. My kids don't know that the baby is still inside my stomach. I don't have those gruesome conversations with my little kids. Even my older daughter said yesterday that she had no idea that I hadn't fully missed the baby yet. And so
we're almost at the end of this, you guys. I'm sorry. I honestly didn't expect this to take up most of the video, but I wanted to play it in full so you heard the words straight from her mouth.
That was never in my head. Even if there was like a live, full growing baby, my kids still play with my stomach.
Okay, well, pinching it like she says, squeezing it, but some of them were hitting it. And I know they're little kids, so it's not like they're like banging on it, but it was hitting.
I still sometimes hit it too hard, and I have to say, don't hit it that hard. I am not carelessly letting my kids hurt a baby inside of my stomach. They were not, I don't know, like the assumptions people were making is that the kids were like hitting the baby and thought it was funny.
Also, is there a child in the background in this? Oh my God.
That's just straight up crazy. They would not do that. That was never in my mind. Never thought that. I realized that it triggered some people and people took it the very wrong way. I mean, I understand that I have a big platform and that people are going to reach for things and try to find anything they can to.
I don't consider it a reach. I don't. I really don't. I was shocked to see it. And this is someone that doesn't have kids, has never suffered from the loss of a pregnancy. I mean,
Made me look really bad. But I took the video down. I don't want to trigger people. I don't want people that have gone through stillbirth and all of that to be upset about it. I took it down. I still don't understand. My mind doesn't go places like that. And if you follow me, you know that I value life, like value life, and that it would be never be anything that I would do. But anyway, I just wanted to educate people on what Miss.
I'm glad she at least, shared the DNC term, but to me, this whole thing just screamed, sorry if this triggered you, but you guys are reaching.
Like, on where we stand when it comes to life, our beliefs, trusting God with your family size, miscarriage. I go back to the doctor in a week, and we will see if the baby has passed or if the sac is still there. But yeah. Anyway, that is my apology. That's all. Be blessed, guys.
But yeah, here are just some pictures I saved. She got married in 2007, and then from there all the way up until 2024, she has had children, and I blocked their faces out, but you can see, now her with her 11 children in 2025. So it's been a long journey for her, and I truly don't know how her body was able to continue to do this for so long. So this is what I'm going to share as far as the contraceptive part that she briefly discussed at the beginning of her apology. So this is something she posted on her TikTok. I mean, she's actively choosing to not do these things because of her religious beliefs. And I just think there's a difference between using faith to help get you through hard times, or using, scripture in the Bible that you think is really great to apply to your life. But also, it's like, not only should you be caring about the well-being of yourself, you have 11 children to take care of, so you should care about your health, safety, and well-being. That's not a controversial take. That's not something that I feel like you should want to debate with strangers online about. It's the caption of that video, and it says, "Come on, y'all, it's 2024. I know about every evil prevention method out there." Evil. To me, evil is not using a preventative method of having kids and then having kids and bringing them into an unfit environment and giving them trauma for years and years because you're an unfit parent. To me, that's evil, but apparently to her, preventative pregnancy measures, that's the true evil to Karissa. I've researched them all. I've been on the pill before. We used to pull out. I just have one question for my fellow believers. Is life from God? If you get pregnant, is that life from God? Or did you just create it yourself from nothing? If we believe every pregnancy and life is from God, why would we deny his gift of life or prevent it? It's the heart of terminating a pregnancy. If you're preventing, are you really pro-life? Again, it's hypocritical to say because technically, and I'm not blaming her for this because she absolutely should have done it, but she had a D&C herself. It was an emergency D&C. She had to have it to survive, but that is technically terminating a pregnancy. So it seems like she'll make exceptions when it's her, like, oh, I needed this, so it's okay. It's just a really extreme way of thinking. I think this is a prime example of pro-life really isn't pro-life. It's about the control and using scripture to justify harming your body, having children just to have them because the Bible says so. I mean, that's basically what she's justifying. This is another really concerning thing that I saw when it came to her husband. It says, no, I don't deny my husband intimacy. The fact that that's so controversial totally blows my mind. We live in a world where promiscuous OnlyFans women are celebrated and praised, but wives that love their husbands are extreme and gross. I know a lot of people say the industry of sex work, but don't hate the people that are participating in it because they're usually in that profession to make money. But yeah, shaming women for that, I can't say I'm surprised, but she did it. I believe this plays into trusting God with our family size. The desire my husband has for me is from God. By not denying him, I allow God to give children in his timing as I obey his word. Why wouldn't we want our husbands to desire us? Just because they want to be intimate with you, that does not equate to love. My needs are below his. Even if I don't want to be intimate, his needs go above mine because he is trying to have a child with me. Putting your needs below your husband, especially your boundaries, just not wanting to be intimate with someone. If anything, that should be beyond clear to the person that you have chosen to be with for the rest of your life. That should be not even a debate. That person should respect your boundaries. That is so sad that she is using the word of God to justify her not having boundaries with her own body. That is just really sad. I mean, this is just so dangerous to share to other women. Okay, y'all, I'm gonna share this one last thing that I probably should have shared earlier, and this is also another clip of Karissa talking about how she feels about contraceptives. It does make me really anxious to see this and just sad and disturbed because she has a lot of young girls in her family, and I truly hope that these girls go on to live lives where they set boundaries. They don't put their needs below others just to satisfy people because that's what the Bible says. I mean, I truly hope that does not happen to these young girls. But here's the clip. This is on the Unbridled Life podcast.
I want to birth control knowing that, but I was like, I'm not going to prevent future children, and the vasectomy is permanent. Well, every single day for...
It can be reversed, and it sometimes does work. It's a lot less likely, but it's not totally impossible.
That I put that pill in my mouth, I knew, like the Bible says, anything not done in faith is sin. And so I knew I was sinning. Like I knew without a shadow of a doubt I was not obeying the Lord and I was going against his exact words to me. And so I told my husband, this was the hardest thing I've done so far in our marriage, I really believe that I've had to do. I said, I'm giving you over to a vasectomy because I can't partake in sin. So I said I will not pull out. I will not do anything that is going to prevent God from giving us life and blessing our family. Wow. And I said, I can't partake, but I also can't force you. And so I said, you can get a vasectomy, but you will stand before the Lord one day and you will account for what you've done.
Wow. It's blowing my mind. It's like, she will set boundaries for this. Like, she believes what is in the Bible about this so much that she will even stand up to her husband about it, but her own bodily autonomy she will not stand up to her husband with. It's so frustrating. I hate to say it, but I feel like her self-confidence and her trust in herself is so little. Another thing I want to mention is another controversial TikTok that I've seen a lot of people talk about with Karissa. And I just want to say that this TikTok was edited, I'm sure, without her children in the room. I bet her children were doing other things when this video was being put together rather than just filmed. Obviously, they were in the room when she filmed it because they're in the video. But to me, this whole thing is just so odd and irresponsible because at the end of the day, the children may not see it the minute you post it, but if they end up using social media or they are with other kids their age that use social media, they're probably this video is gonna resurface, unfortunately, at some point because of the large amount of followers that Karissa has, and also the internet really is forever. So basically what it says, it's that audio on TikTok. It's from the Cinderella movie where Whitney's going, impossible, impossible, and I don't sound like Whitney, so just ignore that. It's that, and she's listing things that comments have said to her, and one of them says that she has a BREEDING kink. And she puts that on the screen while her children's faces are surrounding her, and I just think it is very weird and irresponsible. And again, the internet is forever, and these children are going to grow up and potentially see this. So just think it's really weird, but had to include that, and let's go ahead and close out the video now, finally. I had to share this because I know I have a smaller platform over here on my personal channel, but I just couldn't believe what I was seeing. This was a pretty long video. I know a lot of it was her apology, but I feel like her apology really addressed a lot of aspects of why she has been involved in so much controversy online. Thank you guys for watching, and maybe my next video won't be as serious as this one, but I just had to talk about it because I couldn't believe what I was seeing on my TikTok feed. I had seen videos of her before, but I was like, oh, she just has a lot of kids and puts their pictures on the internet, which is unfortunately a common thing to see when you're scrolling on the internet. That recent video she apologized for just sent me over the edge. So y'all let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.